everyone and welcome back to a brand new video. It's been a while, I'm sorry. Long story short, life hasn't been kind to me, but as promised on Laika and Carlos's streams, I will gradually get back into making videos, mainly how to fly videos, since those haven't been very available for a while now. This will be a joint production with my best friend Paper, so hopefully with our collaboration, things will run smoother behind the scenes so we can provide high quality content. I don't want to drag this on too long, just wanted to give a quick recap of what happened and what's to come. Currently, we'll start by making videos for the 3 Unearthed Season Mythics, starting with Barbend, then Cadence, and lastly a Veronic, according to preferences on a poll I posted. So without further ado, let's dive into it. Staying true to my style, we'll start by analyzing a double defended run on a maxed base to see what went well and where I went wrong. Unfortunately for this video, I don't have any fails to show because I got this down my first try. Okay, so I start off by entrapping the Ice Flag and Blue Mage, then cloaking to avoid any shots. I then chain the Damage Amp, Ammo Spell, and Blood Fury-esque spell, and obliterate Island 8 and the Perch, which I honestly should have left behind to slow me down. On Island 7, I then tried to double entrap the middle lightning and the back right lightning, but fail miserably and only get the middle one. And since I cloaked too soon, super shots went off, and I took some nasty hits from the lightnings, and the Ori's shield went off, obstructing me from destroying the towers on 7. So I focused my efforts on the Ori, then destroy a lightning in Howie, cloak to avoid further damage, and swiftly entrap the back lightning. I then paused momentarily to regroup and cast a Damage Amp and Blood Fury-esque spell to regain rage and health by destroying the remaining towers. Then, when we turn to Island 6, I entrap the Pylon and Ice Flag so it doesn't bother me later, but unfortunately cloak too soon, so when I get out of the cloak, the Ori super shot goes off, which is unpleasant, but I still managed to destroy the Ori, both mages, and entrap the Perch, then chain my spells to destroy the remainder of the towers. But since I got ice flagged, I had to slow down and go through my spell cycle again and regenerate a little more rage before destroying the Perch. Then we get to mid-long, where once again I entrap the Ice Flag and mid-mage, but this time I time my cloak better so that I cloak right after super shots go off, so I can waste them and wait out the shield in the cloak. When I get out of the cloak, I quickly destroy towers on Island 5 and cloak to avoid damage, then manage to entrap all 5 towers on Island 4 and destroy them in 2 batches, while cloaking in between to avoid super shots and damage, of course. When we get to Island 3, I entrap the front 3 and repeat the cloaking technique I did on Island 5, then swiftly destroy all towers with the Ammo Spell and Blood Fury spell. Then once again on Island 2, I entrap the front 3, repeat the cloaking technique, and once I unpause the video, you'll see exactly why I personally like to target wherever the Ice Flag is, rather than blindly entrap the front 3 towers each time. This minor mistake could have cost me the run if I wasn't lucky enough to have all other towers locked down beforehand. Since I was too slow to destroy the towers on cloak, I got ice flagged, which blocked my spells and made me lose a good chunk of health. But since the remaining towers were entrapped, I managed to easily cycle my spells again and clumsily swept through the remainder of the base without dying, when normally this would have been a fatal mistake, at least for me. Now that we're done with the run analysis, let's move on to talking about the spell Cadence. It's actually quite simple, as shown by the video. First, you either entrap the front 3 towers or entrap specific target towers. Then you cloak to avoid damage. Next, you chain the rest of your spells, which is the Damage Amp, the Ammo Spell, and the Blood Fury-esque spell, and swiftly destroy towers. Or if you're not very confident in how quick your reflexes are, you can pick off towers one by one. And that's pretty much it. It's that simple. Just rinse and repeat after that. And of course, one thing I didn't highlight during the run analysis is that you need to cloak whenever you need to avoid damage or super shots. I didn't highlight it because I thought that went without saying. And of course, if you are on a long island, you will repeat that cadence again on the following island, preferably leaving behind one entrapped tower or a harmless tower to slow you down a little bit to give you leeway to deal with the back island without getting hurt. Now that we've gotten the basic cadence out of the way, I'd like to highlight certain extra tips that can really help out. First, I personally recommend targeting the ice flak with the entrap no matter where it is, rather than blindly entrapping the front 3 towers each time. Reason is, using paper as a comparison in this case, paper's reflexes are a lot faster than mine, so he can just entrap the front 3 each time, and it's no big deal because he will be able to destroy all the towers regardless. Unfortunately, my reflexes are not as fast as his, so sometimes I'm not fast enough to destroy everything, and I think that was very clear on Island 2 of my run analysis, where not entrapping the ice flak was almost fatal to me. In different circumstances, I would have died, and for the record, probably the only thing that can manage to kill me with Barbend is when I get ice flacked. My spells are blocked, and then I get hit with mage shots in the face, and it's really hard and sometimes almost impossible to recover from. So for that reason, I'm recommending to always target the ice flak with your entrap, because anything else you can easily dodge as long as you're guaranteeing that your spells will not be blocked. Now for my second tip. In my opinion, Barbend is a very beginner-friendly hunter because of his entrap duration. It lasts for 12 seconds, and you've got a standalone cloak, so you can very easily lock stuff down and dodge shots to really give yourself some breathing room if you need to regroup and think what to do next. For that reason, if you are a veteran hunter-flyer, you don't need to rush to destroy all the towers at once. Sorry, if you are not a veteran hunter-flyer. On the contrary, you can actually afford to pick off towers a little more slowly as long as you focus your ammo shots in a tower or 2 at a time. Especially that, as I said, the entrap duration is 12 seconds, so you actually have the time to do that. So I guess the gist of the advice here is don't rush because you don't really need to. At least you don't need to when you're still training with Barbend. The next tip is not particularly a tip, it's more of a reminder because I feel like a lot of people forget that you can bring along extra spells. And what I always say is extra spells aren't an option, they're there for a reason, use them. You never know when they could really have your back and save you from a really bad situation. So even if you don't intend to use your add-on spell, I would recommend always taking one along just in case. And in my opinion, some really good options for Barbend are Death Gazes, Invincibility Shields, of course, and Lightning Resists, which is kind of a standard for all dragons in terms of importance. So yeah, I recommend not forgetting to bring along an add-on spell, just in case. Now, probably the best piece of advice I can offer is time your cloak right, because just that simple action can do wonders. I talked about it several times in my run analysis, but I really want to stress over this again. I can't stress enough how important it is to just wait a split second before cloaking when you turn to an island, just so super shots go off, because when the super shots go off and you cloak, you waste the defender's super shots and the shields go off, which means that you can wait out the duration of the shielding towers in the cloak, and when you get out of the cloak, you can just destroy other towers right away without needing to bother with the shield as the first tower to take it down, like you normally would need to with other dragons. This brings me on to the next topic I quickly want to brush over, which is tower prioritization. In my opinion, for Barbend, the most important tower to get rid of in any way, whether it be destroying it or trapping it, is the ice flak. Because, in my experience, the only thing that can really kill you once you are skilled with Barbend is the ice flak, because once it blocks your spells, you can't do anything. The other towers will kill you before you have a chance to do anything to save yourself, so my number 1 priority tower is the ice flak. Next, I would kind of put mages and shields on equal footing, and I would say just use your best judgment, essentially, because mages can rain on your parade if they hit you, but you can recover from them, and you can dodge them. And as for shields, I mean, with shields, you have some leeway with them because you can wait out their duration and cloak, but you also don't want to leave them alone for too long because it might make you miss towers or die because you can't kill other towers because the shields keep going off. So basically, for your mages and shields, go with whatever is more beneficial to destroy first after dealing with the ice flags in some shape or form. I know this has gotten really long and you guys are probably sick of me by now, but I'm sorry, please bear with me for a little while longer. The last thing I want to talk about, initially I intended to make a video of its own talking about this different approach of flying Barbend, but I didn't for a few reasons. Firstly, I honestly hate that approach, but that's not really a reason to not talk about it. I still try to get footage for that approach, but I would forget to throw away my entrap most of the time so I can start the turn with the amp. So I didn't get a full run with starting with the amp on the turn. Ultimately, the real reason I decided not to give it a video of its own is because I don't really have any advice to offer when it comes to this approach. I guess it's a Zul-inspired approach because I know some people liked to start with using the damage amp on the turn, just like some people like to do the same with Barbend, which I guess it's fine, but it's a high-risk, high-reward sort of approach that I don't think requires any kind of finesse, hence why I can't really offer any advice for it. What I do want to talk about, though, is why I don't like that approach and why I recommend the entrap approach instead. To show that, let's first look at the video of me attempting that approach. I think you can see it didn't go too well, or rather too smoothly for me, because I wasn't quick enough to destroy the front 3 towers before the shield went off, so I had a really bumpy ride when it came to dealing with the rest of that island, and almost ran out of rage and wasn't able to make it through. However, when we look at Paper's run, the same island, same base, he was quick and got rid of the front 3 towers before the shield went off. So it was super easy for him to just annihilate the rest of the island, and it was super effective because he was fast enough. He even ended up not losing any HP from that specific island. So I think the stark contrast between my attempt and Paper's attempt showcases exactly why I don't like that approach. I don't recommend that approach unless you are sure you are fast enough to pull that thing off. If you can pull it off, more power to you, well done, go for it. But I personally would not recommend it, especially for beginners. However, I would recommend this approach in one case only, and that's if it's an undefended run, because it is a lot faster than the entrap approach, truth be told. On that note, I'll wrap up this video. I hope you guys found this helpful. As always, if you like what you see, please leave a thumbs up, subscribe, spread this video all around. Let me know what you thought in the comments section. I hope everyone is doing well, stay safe, fly high, and I'll see you guys in the next video.